If you want to get physical, you'd best get a move on. The gaming industry is trending towards digital purchases and streaming services, and all the signs point to a continued decline in the prevalence and relevance of physical media. The platform holders want all digital futures. They crave that level of control over content and consumers. They want to kill the second-hand market. And they want direct access to your bank account, ideally. Multi-game subscription services offer really good value that's hard to ignore, but they're also training people to get used to downloading or streaming content, training people to consume without even a thought of ownership. Platform holders and publishers are getting less and less reliant on games retailers, and therefore having less and less need to cut them in on the sales. As people gradually shift away from physical media, games retailers throughout the lands are closing up forever. The few survivors barely even stock games anymore. Their shelves are lined with hardware, paraphernalia, and tat, really. Things that you can't download. Oh, and cards for V-Bucks and Roblox, because it's actually pretty difficult for kids to turn their birthday cash into worthless digital currencies without that handy middleman. Speaking of digital currencies, the economics of games are shifting away from simple purchase models as well. Free-to-play games and paid games that follow that kind of service model, they don't really fit physical distribution. And of course, physical editions of games often aren't even playable off the disc anymore. They're becoming little more than an extra step that you have to take on your way to downloading and playing. The more all this continues, the more that buying habits shift away from physical products, the more the cost of physical games actually increases. Economies of scale are completely diminished, and each physical copy of a game effectively costs more to produce and distribute. Right now, physical games still cost the same as digital games, or sometimes even less, because the few remaining retailers go head-to-head in competition. But that's a balance that makes zero sense, really. Can't be sustainable. For as long as digital games have existed, there's been dreamers calling for digital prices to be lower to reflect the differences in distribution costs. I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that when those prices are lower, it's not going to be because things are getting cheaper for any of us. The gap's going to open the other way. Some things are going to get more expensive. I'm actually part of the problem myself. I went all in on digital at the first opportunity because I love the simplicity of having games just available at my fingertips. Apparently, personally, I'm willing to spend 20 minutes carefully strapping myself into an extravagant virtual reality treadmill, but at the same time, I'm too lazy to eject a disc from a console. I make no sense, but that's what makes me so endearing, right? Oh no. I find that there's lots to love about the digital experience. The simplicity of swapping between games genuinely increases the chances that I actually play a lot more games. And with services like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, I'm never short of options. Still, in this video, I want to advocate a little for the merits of physical media and look at how it might stay relevant in the age of complete corporate control of our content. The last bit might sound a little bit dramatic, but that's essentially the biggest trade-off with a digital library. You own nothing, and your access to a game, or even an entire library of games, can just be taken away at the whims of a corporation. You cross their lines, you can just immediately lose access to everything, and there's no real recourse besides pleading. Even if you did nothing wrong at all, you've got no real power in that conversation. People quite rightly argue that even when you buy a game physically, you don't technically own it, you still just own a license to play it, but that still gives you more control than a digital purchase. If Sony want me to stop playing Lair, they're going to need to wrestle this copy from my cold, dead hands. Why Lair? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even want to play Lair. Nobody wants to play Lair. But if anybody did want to play Lair, I'd be able to sell them this copy, or give it to them, or lend it to them, hide it in their bag as they try to leave. I could literally throw Lair onto a raging fire. How is that not a massive advantage for physical games ownership? So there are clear advantages to owning physical copies of games, clear distinctions in what you can do with it, how you can preserve it, how you can share it. But there are also pretty powerful sentimental reasons to covet a product that you can hold and cuddle and taste. The feeling of owning something, the connection to something that you consider more than a product, the presence of a collection that spans shelves, bookcases, whole rooms, and knowing that they're right there where you left them, ready to cuddle again in however many years it takes to get back to it. That's real for a lot of people, and magpies. Magpies love that kind of thing. That's not really me, or at least it's not really me anymore, something that I let go of sometime after getting Lair. But I still appreciate that perspective. I still understand that people do feel those things. Taking the idea of collections up a notch, you've got collector's editions editions, steelbooks, super special editions that come with life-size robot mammoth statues. A more expensive niche within the hobby, but perhaps the future of physical ownership? That's a side of things that I don't really see going away anytime soon. Really, what I'm trying to get at in this video is that even though I personally fully embrace the dark arts of digital gaming libraries, I really still value physical media as an option. I don't like digital prices being coupled to physical prices, and that does need to change, but I hope that physical copies don't fall away entirely. I hope that people that do like them, that do want to collect them, can always continue to buy them. What about you? Do you ever buy physical? Do you have the Magpie gene? Like, comment, give your favorite game a cuddle, and thanks for watching.